spent a lot of time. I was up till 1 a.m. last night really mulling over this decision. Why didn't Shedeur get drafted in the first round? Number one, he didn't code switch. What do I mean he didn't code switch? Shedeur Sanders did not change his identity or how he comes off for the sake of the decision makers. He did not change how he comes off for the sake of the decision makers. And who are decision makers in the National Football League? Primarily non-minorities, primarily white people. He did not code switch. He stayed true to Shedeur. The problem is he didn't make himself more palatable to decision makers.
I don't know if you know this, but over half of the NFL is Black. So anybody trying to claim that this is racism, you're full of it.
We all know that it's not just about him being Deion Sanders' son. It's about the bravado he carries. It's about the fact that he looks a certain way. It is about the fact that the color of his skin sometimes at that position can be questioned. And I believe Shedeur Sanders is going to have to deal with that until he gets on the field.
Black people have to stop defaulting to racism when something doesn't go your way. I have news for all of you. There are a lot of things in life that's not going to go your way, and it doesn't mean that it's racist, okay? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Quisha King Show. I am your host, Quisha King Benton. I do try to stay in my lane, but on this story, it crossed into my lane, so I had to talk about it. The Shedeur Sanders NFL draft controversy must be spoken about, especially when it comes to politics, because they have turned this thing into a race thing, and race is political. So therefore, here we are. So Shedeur is the 5th round pick draft, the son of famous NFL player, former NFL player Deion Sanders, which my husband says was literally top, I think he said top 3, either top 3 or top 5 best in the NFL. I mean, my husband says that when Deion Sanders talked his trash, he could back up every single thing that he said. He proved himself over time. And I'm going to read you the article that my husband sent to me to help me get clarity on what actually happened with this situation. Hopefully it will calm down all of that other nonsense about, oh, it was racist.
And the NFL should be ashamed of itself for what it has now done over 3 rounds of the draft to Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, really?
I'm worn out because I'm so sickened and I'm so saddened over what this league just did to this kid and in turn to his father.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't watch this guy, so I don't know his normal temperament, but this looks like some BS. I'm sorry. This looks like you trying a little bit too hard to try to make people believe that this thing was racism. Like you look like you're doing like the white guy. I gotta be like, you're trying to absolve yourself of something. Like, why? Like, I don't know. It's just a little bit extra for me.
It was outrageously obvious that he's the best thrower.
This dude is so distraught. Like, he is distraught. He is outside of himself because Shedeur Sanders did not get picked first round. Insane.
3 effing rounds of the draft. Why is that? Is it about football or is it personal? The NFL should be ashamed because, I don't know what you want to call this. Let's teach him a lesson. Let's teach Deion a lesson. You can't act like that. It's got to be personal because it cannot be about football. So if it's not football, what is it? Are there racial undertones here? Racist undertones? You be the judge. Racism is so hard to sort of grasp and prove, but it just stinks. It smells of racist undertones. of too many white people in charge in this league who just roll their eyes.
How many Black people got drafted? How many young Black men got drafted before Shedeur? Like, you can't honestly say this stuff. Enough with the race stuff. But Skip, calm that stuff down. And here is some thoughtful and factual information that a lot of people I don't think knew that was going on that are now commenting on this situation. Whether Shedeur Sanders' NFL draft slide was talent evaluation or arrogance, there are some lessons. A little over a year ago, when multiple major college stars declined to participate in any workout portion of the league's annual scouting combine, an AFC general manager pointed to the growing trend as the arrival of the opt-out generation. As I pulled together a story about it, I spent days listening to decision makers inside the league either grouse or contextualize it. To many, it was an example of a troubling new norm where some NFL draft prospects didn't see the pre-draft process as necessary to make a successful transition into the league. To others, it was an example of players taking power into their own hands and refusing to take part in something that would likely only hurt them. Let me stop right there and address this part. Here is a lesson for you. This is for the young people out there. In life, the transition phase is many times where things can go wrong. When you're transitioning out of high school to college, you get in that middle part, you start enjoying your summer, and you're like, you know what? I don't think I want to go to school. Transition phases are very important. You shouldn't skip out on the lessons that are offered to you during that transition phase. When you're going to college or when you're graduating, you're going into a new job, don't skip the orientation for the new job. Don't skip the orientation for college. Don't skip the orientation on your trade school. The transition offers so many lessons and opportunities for things to go left, which is exactly what happened with Shedeur.
Tell them what does Shedeur Sanders need? What do you hope to get out of the NFL to help you reach your maximum potential as fast as possible?
All I need is opportunity. Simple. Whatever franchise want to change their franchise, then there's no doubt who to go with. I've done it over and over and over, so you'll be a fool not to pick me. If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the coach, then don't get me. So you should know history repeats itself over and over and over, and I've done it over and over and over, so it should be no question why an NFL franchise should pick me. You think I'm worried about what critics say or what people got to say? You know who my dad is? They hated on him too. So it's like it's almost normal. Without people hating, it's not normal for us. So we like diversity. We like everything that comes with the name. That's why we are who we are.
Quote, every step has been eroded over time, one high-ranking AFC executive complained. Guys opt out of high school games, college bowls, all-star games, the combine, pro days. It's the new normal, the arrogance of it all, and it's only going to get worse. But inside it all, there was a thread of common agreement when it came to an elite talent like Marvin Harrison Jr. declining to take part in most of the pre-draft process. Didn't matter. He didn't do workouts. He didn't speak to media. He did things the way he wanted, and he was still taken with the 4th overall pick in the draft. But also in that same thread of common agreement, someday another player is going to do everything his way, and it's going to bite him. It was not hard to think about these conversations as I watched Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders tumble down the draft board all the way to the 5th round of this NFL draft. It was an unprecedented fall that shocked even those who were deeply into the critical side of the ledger when it came to the assessment of Sanders. This is a very even-handed and fair response. And while I don't know the ins and outs of how Sanders' draft process went with every team, I will say this: when NFL Network chose to publicize visceral, anonymous comments from a handful of league sources about their discontent of Sanders' approach in meetings or what they viewed as, quote, arrogance, I wasn't shocked. I had also heard some extremely negative opinions about Sanders inside teams. Some dealt with his football evaluation on the field. Others were about how he carried himself. Still, others were, and this can't be ignored, rooted in Sanders' football career having been guided at seemingly every step by his father, Deion Sanders. All right, young people, here is another important lesson for you. As a business owner, when you're thinking about bringing a new employee on, because that's what Shedeur is, he is an employee and he is being evaluated to work for an organization. Although it's millions of dollars, albeit it's for football, it's a game, it's sports, it's still a job interview. Don't get it twisted. When you're going for these things, you want to look at how things have been done in the past. Why do you want to look at how things have done in the past? Because a lot of times things are in place because they've tried other things and those things didn't work. And so now they have a process that they like to keep. And these pre-draft processes, like working out and doing the combines and letting them see you work out and do all the things, that is important for them to see you, not just, when you're under, in this case, your father, because they're trying to see how are you going to take instruction from another coach? That's a big deal. Yes, you're is your father the only one that can speak into you? Is your father the only one that can coach you? I'm going to need to know that before I spend my hard-earned money on you. I'm going to want to know that. This is beyond sports. This is something that you need to take into account when you're going about your life. I hope this Shedeur Sanders situation serves to teach a lot of young men and women how to maneuver out here in the world when you want somebody to pay you to work for them. Newsflash, it's their way. They don't have to do things your way. You want to play on their team. And they have every right to want to know if the person that they are hiring is coachable. For those looking for the one thing that culminated in Shedeur's draft fall, there's going to be disappointment because I believe it was a different cocktail for each franchise and maybe even for every single evaluator who was tasked with building a dossier on Shedeur. You can find some who thought his decision to completely check out of the combine was a massive mistake born out of him not understanding how his evaluations were really shaping up. Others point to his interviews, his preparedness to face curveballs when meeting with teams, or never having played for a head coach at a high level of football who wasn't his father. Not having an agent to prepare him at the start of the process, or then try to stop his fall at the end of it might have been costly. Some simply pointed to football evaluations that they believed were lacking. The bottom line, teams across the league either found reasons to pass on him or were never convinced by Sanders in the pre-draft process as to why they should take him. This, in reality, happens every year with some players. This time, it happened with an extremely high-profile player who had a good resume of success. A few evaluators spoke to Yahoo Sports late Saturday night, expressed an element of one common theme. The pre-draft process matters a lot when you're an imperfect prospect or already have a deep base of critics. Doubt can be inflated when any of the steps are fumbled or skipped. You can get removed from draft boards. You can suffer a slide, and you can become the prime model of a message that teams desperately try to get across to prospects every year. You can do it your way, rather than their way, but it could end up costing you. In Shedeur's case, for a variety of reasons, that are distinctly personal to the teams that passed on him, it did. And that, my friends, was, in my opinion, a well-written article about what happened with Shedeur. This was not about race. This was about a boy, a young man rather, who has been raised with great wealth, has never really had to struggle. Your father was the coach for you. Yes, I'm sure, I am not taking it away. You have probably worked extremely hard to get in shape for the NFL, to become this, great player, because people say that he's really good. I won't say great according to my husband, and I take he's an athlete himself. He knows football inside and out. He played himself. So I take what he says, I take him at his word for it. He says that he is good, but he's not great yet. He's not great yet. And these things, greatness doesn't just exist in your athletic ability, talking football. The part of the greatness needs to be your humbleness, needs to be you willing to participate in all of the pre-draft stuff. I'll bet you Deion did. I bet you his father did all of those things. I don't know, but he probably did. This whole era of, oh, I'm just going to do how I want to do, you don't know. That's not what you want to do. That is not what you want to do, because you're still young and you're still learning. Sometimes, and this is, y'all so-called believers will be the same ones when something traumatic happens, or something doesn't go your way, or somebody even looks at you crazy, or I don't know, somebody asks you to move seats because you're sitting under a wrong tent. Y'all want to cry racism, when, if you are a believer, you should know that sometimes God allows obstacles, He allows struggles, He allows for us to have to exercise patience for our own well-being, for our good, not racism. So you need to pick a side, because those of you who claim the name of Christ and also want to walk around here and act like you're exempt from struggle, from strife, from troubles of the world, and every time they come at your doorstep, it's racism, you're going to be claiming racism and blaming the wrong thing and looking at the wrong thing for the rest of your life. I hope this lesson spreads far and wide to all of these young people who think they want to go into different organizations or companies and think that they want to change what they have been doing and processes that they have perfected for decades. Humble yourselves, never believe your own hype, and make sure that when the transitions come, you are able to handle those curves, and you are able to stay on track and get to where you are going. Those are my thoughts on this topic, but let me know what you think about what I think in the comments section below. I look forward to hearing from you all, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.